Particle Fleet Emergence, ShadeOfDead style. I am ShadeOfDead. And, as I said, today, I don't know if all day is going to be this, but, you know, all 3 episodes today will be this. But we're going to go in here, go to the ship editor, mission editor, I don't know. I'll give my thoughts, and like I said, I should say my opinions on ship creation and mission creation. We'll see what we can come up with. Now, I'll show you what I've built. Like, this is one that I built. Oh, no, that needs to go back on here. There we go. Like, I built this ship. Is it good? I don't know. It's okay. Lots of cannons is pretty powerful. Well, let's just make a new one. Let's create a new ship. Cancel. Yeah, I don't care about the cancels. Cancel and lose changes. That's fine. Oh, I forget how to do this. I just want to create a new ship. Stop. Cancel. Cancel and lose. Close that. I don't want to edit the whole. I just want to make a new one. Oh, we got to make it a name. Let's see. We're going to call this one Test. Create a new ship. There we go. Alright. Now I remember how to do it. So this is... Using this, we'll go into it a little bit more. This is the box that is basically the size of a ship that you could make. Like, you could make one that was this full size. But I guess what I want to talk about is, like, what makes a good ship? Well, I don't know. What makes a good ship? It needs to... You need to decide what you want it to do. What role does it fill? Is it going to be a lathe ship? Is it going to be a general all-purpose ship? Is it going to be a ship that can do everything? Is it going to be a ship that does one specific thing and does it fairly well? I kind of like the concept of specialized ships, not ships that do everything. That's kind of how navies are. Well, I'm going to speak about the United States Navy more than anything else. A carrier doesn't also have battleship cannons, you know, to bombard a beach or whatever, or shoot other ships or whatever. You know, every ship in a fleet has its role. That's why they have all the different ships. You know, you have destroyers, and then you have cruise missile destroyers, and you have frigates, and you have cruisers. You know, these are all different sizes of ships, basically. And they all have a different role. Whether that role is scouting, anti-air, cruise missiles to attack from extremely long range with pretty darn pinpoint accuracy. What do we want our ship to be? So let's start with just something small that fills a role, I think, is what we want to do first. So let's do a hull, right? Let's just make a small ship. And we'll do this. I don't want it to be too big. This might even be bigger than I want it to be. Yeah, let's make it skinnier, like that. Let's give it something of a head out here, so that it can. We can put. Did I even do that symmetrically? Not really. Did I? Something like this. Let's give it some of these. We got to use the. Alright, wheel. That'll work. Put that there, put that there, put that there, put that there. We're going to want some armor on it, obviously. You know, aesthetics, how important is that? Not all that important to me. Oh, we'll definitely put some armor on it, but let's go ahead and put what we want on it first. An engine, of course, so it can move, worth the darn. Let's give this. Let's make this a cannon ship, and let's just put like 3 cannons here. I'm not being very symmetrical, am I? Oh, that bothers me. You can't. Your symmetrical has to be like that. Yeah, there's not. This is 3 blocks wide. Okay, so that makes things slightly annoying. Okay. So let's take. Yeah, you're there. You come here. You go there. Alright, now I've already put more cannons on here than I intended. But I've now made a cannon ship. What else should it have? Should it have a particle beam? I'm going to say no. I'm probably going to add a little bit more hull to this just to give it a little bit more armor. I'm going to say no, it doesn't need a particle beam. And the reason I say that is cannon shots, when you destroy a particle with a cannon shot, it makes that little explosion. The explosion pushes back the particles. This ship is going to be for, and I'm just making this as I go, I think I'll make this ship be for the sole purpose of blasting the like the land, to demire it and to defend itself. Now what I've put on here right now has made it very how do we say, or what, how do I say, I should say, probably energy demanding. I have a feeling. So we want to armor up here. We're going to armor up as much as possible. This does make it take longer to build, and like I said, I don't know if this is good or not. That will make it longer to build. Heck, we'll armor everything that isn't, you know, that's armorable. I can't armor underneath the guns and stuff, but we can armor all the rest of that. Alright, and it looks different here than it's going to look in the game. I think once you've built it and you put it in the game, then it does the slopes here and all that kind of stuff. Like, you know, I can't put the slopes on here. That's not part of it. So here it is. There's our first ship. Let's call it, let's name it something different than test. Let's name it Beachhead. We'll call it a Beachhead ship. Boom. I called it test, but whatever. I want it to be called the Beachhead. Let's take this same ship. What do you say? Okay, I can just right click. Yep. Right click, right click, right click. I was just going to save over test. I wonder if I can put test 2 here. We'll see. I'm kind of learning how to use this as we go. And let's go with missiles on it. So what is this good for? This is going to be good for taking care of emergent. I mean, this is almost as good as a wolf, but it's smaller. So let's call this one missile. I'll just call it missile ship. Ooh, that doesn't fit. Can't be very long, huh? Missile M ship. There we go. That'll work. Now let's see what this does. Does this call it? Okay, so now test is that, so I have to make a new ship called. We'll do that real quick. That's kind of not as great as I wanted it to be. I don't even know if I can mimic what I did last time. Well, that's not right. There. And then we want to go like, I don't remember how I did this at all. We'll see if we can figure it out again. We're just going to build some ships. Yeah. Let's see if this is right. Yeah, like that. Close that. And I apologize. I've still got a cold. And it's still kicking my butt. This doesn't look like the other one. That's alright, though. Maybe we'll build a different kind of cannon ship this time. See, I really wish I could put it right in the middle of this. Like, just, I wish this was 4 wide. It's driving me nuts. So I need it wider. I didn't make it wide enough, I would say. Like that. Let's try that. And then let's go move him. No, he's fine there, actually. He needs to be like that. And then I had a cannon here and a cannon here. So I need to make this bigger still. Because we want some armor out here. Yeah, we're going to put one of these. Like that. There we go. That's how we wanted it. And this might even be smaller yet. This is going to be, yeah, this is going to be completely different looking. It's just going to come out different. That's alright. And actually, I need to do one of those. Build. Build. Alright. And then we're going to put a couple lasers on the front. Now, this is a completely different thing. This is going to be our beachhead. Apply it. Test. Let's go back to it. So, I made that one like short and fat, and that one's kind of taller. I didn't even put an engine on this. That's great. Jeez. There we go. And an engine. See? You got to remember to put your engine on. There we go. And apply that. There we go. So test missile ship. Now I'm thinking about this. This is a missile ship. I need to go back to test 2, and we need to do something slightly different. A missile ship can use particle beams because it's not going to slow down the particles as much. It needs some sort of protection against that, and that's what a particle beam is going to do. Now, do we do 2 particle beams, or do we do 1 particle beam? Do we do 2 particle beams and a laser, or do we do 1 particle beam and 2 lasers? And actually thinking about it now, I think a better design is going to be this. With the 1 particle beam and then the 2 lasers. There. I think I'm happy with the missile ship. So we've designed a ship. Is it great? It's alright. Probably. I mean, it has a role that it can fulfill. It can take out Emergent and also help support the front line. Our cannon ship. I need to armor it before I forget. Armor everything. I'm just that way. Just armor all of it. Just armor everything. There we go. Yes, this has a purpose as well. I like that. Like, I feel like your ship should have a purpose. A very specific thing. And that might mean it just has 1 kind of weapon on it. Now, having a few lasers, it makes sense that you're going to want something like that. So let's go out of here. Let's do test 3. So let's talk about lathes for a minute. How do we want our ship? We've kind of come up with this design for our ships. Big noses, little stuff here. Let's do something. Let's maybe do something different. Like, what is a good lathe ship? Obviously, it has a lathe on it. You know, that's something for sure that we want, is a lathe on our ship. What else, though? What kind of weaponry should it have? Should it have a guppy? Should it have a reactor? Should it have anything like that? Or should it be more like the one from the campaign, which is just a lathe? You know, it's a lathe. It's got, what, a laser on it. and that's it. Some armor. Is that what we want? Or do we want to try to make it more specialized? Do we want more than one lathe on it? Do we want it to be able to lathe very fast? Do we want an energy tank? Knowing what I know, if you're going to put much in the way of any weapons on it, you're going to want some way for it to refuel itself. I use my lathes when I play. Oftentimes they are running out in front, sometimes outside of the range of being refueled by a tanker or a micro tanker or an energy node or what have you, and you've got to rely on the fact that it stores enough energy that it can lathe long enough, if there's two of them anyway, to destroy something and still fire its one laser and do repair while it's being damaged all at the same time. They can usually do that. So I'll be honest, the normal lathe is fine as far as I'm concerned. Like, it works pretty well, I think. But I think we could do something like with maybe 2 lathes and then like more armor out front. Let's build the hull a little bit more. Maybe we can kind of see what I'm talking about. Maybe I can figure out what I'm talking about. Well, that was kind of a mistake, but maybe it's a happy mistake, and that's what we're gonna do. I don't know. Something like that. And then we did this, right? Okay, let's see where we can get our lathes at. Having the lathes forward as much as possible. Like, I've seen some ships that have like a lathe, but it's like towards the back, so that it is less effective, because you have to be like almost touching whatever it is you're gonna, like on larger ships, like they'll have a lathe here and the front of the ship is here. You have to be like almost touching what it is you're going to use the lathe on. So what do we want? Well, we want to put some armor on the front because we want it to be able to withstand a significant amount of damage. We don't want it to just crumple. And I think doing this almost makes it like the what's it called? The hammer. A little bit. Just doing that makes it kind of like the hammer. One thing I know for sure I don't want one thing I know for sure I don't want is a particle beam on this, because like I said, energy is such a necessity for it. Even with a even if I put an energy tank here, which we could totally do, these are still a little bit further back than I kind of want them. Let's move them up a little bit. I mean, this is a pretty big ship. I've made this rather large. And then if I armor all this up, I mean, oh, that wasn't what I meant to do. If I armor this all up, what do we get? I mean, there we go, armor. How long does this take to build? And that's something you need to, like, you're going to have to go in and test. So we've got an armored ship. Can we put... what do we put on it? I don't want a particle beam. I don't want a particle beam. Dischargers. Do we want to put some dischargers on it too? I mean, I guess I got to erase the armor. Is that just... yeah. So I'd have to erase... let's just take the armor off. Let's get rid of the armor for the most part, just so that we can figure out what it is we want to build on it first. I thought it would just replace the armor, maybe. Do we want to put dischargers on it like that? I mean, this could be a super multi-purpose ship, but it's going to take a long time to build. I mean, this is like an advanced lathe type system. This isn't probably your first, you know, baby's first lathe. This is probably not what you're going to build right away. In my opinion, like, this is not what I would build right away. But I'm starting to like it. I feel like I need to do some aesthetics work on it too, to make it feel like it is. Alright. I mean, I do like this. We could call this the, yeah, advanced lathe. Call it that. It's not bad. So this one is a lathe, plus it has an energy tank, so it can store lots of energy. It has 2 dischargers. I mean, so this takes the place of a lathe and a discharger. It's a dual-purpose ship. I have no idea how long this takes to build, but I don't feel like, because it has an energy tank, this is not what I would build first. This is not the lathe that I would want right away. Maybe the lathe I want right away, we're just going to name them all tests so I can know which ones I'm working on here, is more like the normal lathe, honestly. If anything, like, the normal lathe is pretty well designed. Did I even put an engine on this thing? When I did this, did I apply and continue? Yeah, I did. I put an engine on it. Maybe a normal lathe is too big. Maybe we want just a real cheap, simple little ship here as a lathe, just to help out in the lathing department, I guess. Whatever, you know. We could slap a laser there. It's not gonna have much armor. It's not gonna be good for getting up there in the face of things by itself. A normal lathe can kind of pull that off. If an emitter doesn't have too many particles nearby and isn't making too many particles, it can handle it. With its nose it's got out here that is armored, its laser to kind of destroy or at least weaken the particles before they hit the armor and the ship. It can kind of hold its own, but maybe we don't want to have to do that. Maybe we want to have ourselves a little bit of a struggle here when it comes to the ship. This is like a smaller lathe. That's all that is. I kind of like it. It's gonna be cheap to build. It's gonna be fast to build. So maybe when we're making maps for this, for these ships to be used in, maybe that's important. Having lathes that you can rush and build quickly, maybe we should consider trying to make that important and balance that out and make it how we want it to be, I guess. I think that's a pretty good start. I mean, I don't know what else really I need to build here to get started. The only other thing I can think of is like something with a Mark 7. But I don't even think that's all that necessary. Let's rename this. I hate to call it mini lathe because I think I've seen that as a name of a ship before, but I'm gonna call it the mini lathe. All right. So we've got the mini lathe, fast, not as durable as a normal lathe, quick to build. We've got the advanced lathe, which is almost a warship in and of itself. You know, this fills 2 roles, lathe plus dischargers. We've got our beachhead with the 6 cannons, and we've got the missile ship with the 6 missiles. And I kind of like the differences between these. Like, this has more armor, and it's probably going to be closer. This is probably going to be more in the front than this. Missiles have a greater range, and so that kind of makes sense to me that this is going to be better armored than that one. And we've got our 2 lathes. I guess the only other, and of course my alphabet wing. I mean, we could even armor this up a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. Super armored. That's going to affect how fast it builds. I know it will. And this guy is just like an even more cannon crazy ship to me. So the only other thing I can think that we might want is a resupply ship. You know, a tanker. A mini tanker, a tanker. I think I want to try to make something here. Let's see. Let's call it, well, we'll call it Test 5, so I know which ones I'm using. Create new ship. Let's do something a little bit different, maybe. Here, let's go for a tanker, anyway. Let's go a little bit like that. Let's swing out here a little bit. What do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4. That's perfect. That's exactly it. No, I'm just kidding. That's not how I want it to look. A hull piece. Yeah, I'll fix that in a minute. I'll fix that in a minute. And again, I feel like these need like a little bit of aesthetics work to make them look okay. This looks very similar to my alphabet wing, but this is what I'm wondering. All right, let's get our engine. Let's get a couple engines on it. Why not? And then let's go kind of loco mad with guppies. Energy tank on the front. I mean, I don't want this in battle, really at all. There, a little bit of aesthetics for you. See, that's the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Just cool design like that. Should it be able to defend itself? Probably. A little bit, but like, I'm not going to expect this thing to do much when it comes to battle. And this can be our resupply ship. Not like a single tank and 4 guppies. Like, I kind of want to explore the idea of maybe not even having that tank. Just having 4 guppies. Just constantly streaming. So you have this... We're getting power. We're getting a decent amount of power from the guppies, but we have this issue of it's going to run out of power. You know, it's unable to... If I take the energy tank away, it's unable to keep up a constant supply of power. So whatever you're going to do, either you have to use few ships in order to ensure that your power is going to get supplied. Maybe 4 guppies is way too much. I think I'm going to get rid of this energy tank. Oh, no, go back. I think we're going to get rid of the energy tank. Yeah, we're going to get rid of the energy tank. And I'll just armor this up. And this way, you've got to make a decision now. How... Oh, we need a port. That's what I need there. I need a port. I've armored it. I've armored it. So now you have to make that decision. You know, how much do you want to push this? This ship is not designed to be anywhere near the particulate. It's probably decently fast. I've doubled the engines on it. But you can't support your entire fleet with it, even more so than like a fully charged tanker with a tank on it, an energy tank on it and everything, because you know, those have the limitation of how much energy can be expelled from the port, and that's 30. It's just a number, but that's what it is. It's 30. But a fully charged tanker with its energy tank full will last a lot longer than this, maybe? I mean, we've got 4 guppies. How much power does that pull compared to the... What is on a tanker? One, it's got an energy tank, and what, 2 guppies? Is that right? Or is it only 1 guppy? Micro tank only has 1 guppy, but it has no tank. It just has the guppy. I don't know. I'm curious to try this. So we'll call this the guppy carrier. Yeah, guppy car carrier. Guppy carry. That'll work. So what do we do with this? Well, we need to build a map to test all these. We got the guppy carry, the forever. I don't know why I named it that. Mini lathe, advanced lathe, the beachhead, and the missile ship. All simple ships that have a purpose. Yeah, I mean, we could go into and make like a plasma clearing ship with particle beams on it all over. You can always have the reactor plus the port ships, which I really like the idea of that from the Fugitives. I don't know if the author of the Fugitives series, those 2 maps, like watches these. I'd love to see some more of those. I really like that idea that was going on there. I kind of enjoyed it. It felt good, and they were pretty good maps. They were pretty fun. Like it felt. The design of those, well, I mean, we'll get into map design, but probably next episode. But the design of those maps were very, and some people might say this is a bad thing, but linear. It felt like there was a certain flow of, you know, this is how you would proceed through this, and that's good to have that in a game, even if it is sort of obvious simply because you couldn't accomplish anything else. Like, there's only really one way you can go, but it wasn't a guess what the map maker was thinking. It was a, oh, well, obviously I don't want to go, you know, up here on that second map. Like, you cleared out the bottom part, this little area here, and there was just a stream of particles flying past you. Up above here, there's like land over here and land over here, and particles were just streaming past up here. Well, you don't want to, with the ships you have, the energy issues that you have, you don't want to charge in here and try to fight your way through the particles. So you kind of skipped over the land that was right here. You skipped over this and then worked your way up and took out the stuff with just a few ships, just a couple of your fleet. But, you know, you tried to keep everything close by to supply power and yada yada yada. That it was a very distinct flow. You took care of this issue. You know, you took care of this one down here. Then you took care of this issue up here in the corner, and then you went over a little bit, and then there was this. You got that missile ship, and then you came over here, and there was like an emitter that was really pouring out particles, a lot of particles, and you needed to get rid of it. So you cleaned that out. Then, and I think you got a ramming type ship with a shield, and you were faced with this giant ball of struck that was rebuilding at a pretty quick rate. How do you get through it? Well, you ram it with the ship, or I don't remember exactly what it was that you had to fight. Maybe it was another one of those emitters that only went out so far, and then the particle immediately died and exploded. It just made this circle of death. And so you had to use the rammer to get in there and then sneak in the keyhole lathe and stuff. Like, it was very step by step by step, get through this map. Still a danger, pretty much the whole time, at least, you know, something of a danger, or you can kind of feel like you're in a danger, even if maybe you really aren't. Oh, 7 seconds. That's all it takes to build that? 14. Oh, command module. All right, so it takes 8 seconds to build that. 42 seconds to build this command module. So that's, or 21 seconds. So this is, all right, so this is going to take 21 seconds to get this built, and then it's got to construct all the rest of this. This guy and this guy. We got 7 seconds, 9 seconds, 4 seconds for that little guy, 14 for that one, and 24 for the guppy carrier. Oh, I didn't see that before. Right here. Total, modules, hull. And I guess maybe that's the total amount of energy it costs. 565? Interesting. Yes. Yes. And yeah, anyway. So we built a few ships here. Enough to like do a first map. I don't even know what this is. Nothing that I even finished, so I'm just gonna delete that. That was something maybe I tried to start and then I don't know, I probably got distracted by a squirrel, something like that, and then I didn't do it. But we've got a little fleet here that we could try out. I mean, we got the alphabet wing. It's just honestly just a bigger version of the beachhead. The Forever is just a bigger version of the beachhead, really. It's just a few more cannons. 2 more cannons, plus particle beams, and 2 engines to make it a little bit faster, maybe. Yeah, I think this is enough. So, we've got all this. I think we go and we try out, we make a map. And we try to make it interesting. Give it a flow, give it a reason to be there. We'll have to do some testing. I got some things I need to learn about map making. So, I don't know. To me, smaller ships are more interesting, more fun to play with than giant ships for a couple of reasons. One, giant ships take 15 minutes to build. I mean, some of them can, depending on how many modules and stuff you put on it. Like, how big it is, like how many seconds it's going to take to build it. It could take forever. I mean, oh, yeah. Call it silly. I mean, just making, and I'm talking still, and I was going to end this, but just building like a big square of a ship and then armoring it and putting all sorts of modules on it, it's gonna take it a long time to build. I mean, just look at how many seconds we're at right now. I haven't even put a module on it. Look at how long this is gonna take to build. For the command module, not even for the rest of the ship. It just says command module. Like, and this is not an unheard of size of ship. Like, I've seen things this big, and how fun is this? I mean, we're at 10 minutes. we're at like forever minutes. Like, this is gonna take forever to build. And I've seen ships like this size. I haven't even added anything to it. It's gonna take like 5,000 energy just to finish. I think also I want to try to make a large ship that doesn't take forever to build. And I'll show you what I mean when we get to it. But I mean, here we are, without adding any modules. You know, what is that? Forever? Like, the map's over by the time this gets finished. Like, whatever. We'll keep that the silly for now. But we're not going to use it. But yeah, this is my biggest issue with large ships. Like, they take forever to build. In a real world where energy wasn't this infinite resource. Like, there's no way that you would build a ship that large. Unless it just had to be that large. You know, maybe if it was a colony ship, and you have to have room for hydroponics, you have to have room so you can grow plants, you're going to need space for all the people to live, you're going to need probably an area to help them relieve stress that's going to remind them of home, like a garden that's also going to help produce lots of oxygen. You're going to need, you know, all the equipment you're going to need, you know, water purification, CO2 scrubbers, because you're going to need that to augment the plants. You're going to need a lot of plants if you're going to do it otherwise. I mean, how do you get the sunlight? You need generators, you need engines, you need a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe you do need a ship that big. But that's like a ship you build because it needs to be that big. Nobody builds the shield helicarrier for their army, for their military. No country has done that. Could they build it? Absolutely. That is something that could be built. It could be used. It can be worked. It can be done. You can make that. You can make the shield helicarrier. Like, a country could sit down and go, we're going to build a shield helicarrier. We're going to build a flying aircraft carrier. And they could build that. Whether it's the same design as a shield helicarrier, which is designed terribly in my opinion, but whatever. You don't put 4 points of lift on something that's flying in such a manner that if you destroy one, the ship starts to fall. Like, if you take out one corner, it's going to start falling. It's going to... You either have to cut off the opposite, you know, diagonally across the opposite corner from it. Like, if this one goes out, then you need to shut this one off and then try to keep it level with just these two. And using this guy, you know, in a forward and backwards type situation, which would be very difficult to do quickly, because you've got to spin it one way, stop it, turn it back the other way, stop it, turn, you know, to keep it balanced. You'd build like 6 or 8, or make it a circle. Like, it would be redundant. But anyway, you'd need to make redundancy in it. But they could totally build it. But it's a terrible idea. Like, it would have to be huge if it was going to be a carrier. We've got small flying things, all right? We have helicopters and stuff. The reason why they're not massive is because the cost, they're not invincible. Like, a single well-placed shot, one well-placed missile could take the shield helicarrier down. That's not what you want. That's not the kind of ship that you want to spend that much in the way of resources and money and time and outfit with people to run it. You don't want a shield helicarrier. You want something smaller. Now, do we have aircraft carriers in the world? Yes, we do. But they're not flying. And because they're not flying, the reason why they're so big is twofold. One, they're carrying planes inside of this ship. It has lots of people in it to keep everything going. And if you poke a hole in the side of it, it's not going to sink. You got to poke a lot of holes inside of it. Like, they're made not to sink. They're very specifically that big for, you know, because they have to be. If you're going to land a plane on it, it's got to be this long. If you're going to launch a plane on it, it's got to be this long. But you don't just make a big ship because it seems cool. Like, it needs to have a purpose. Like, maybe you do have that one ship, that the grand ship of the Armada, the one that has, you know, 6 Mark 7s and everything else on it. Like, maybe you do that, but I honestly think, like, the Varro is as big as I would want to go normally. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm gonna let you guys go, and I'll try to do a map. We'll work on creating a map to try these ships out. It's gonna be very basic, but it's gonna be, I'm gonna try to make it like so that every phase of the playthrough of the map is specific. It has a purpose. So we'll check that out. All right, I'll see you guys all then. Thanks for watching. Bye.